There are stories of even more human rights abuses coming from ICE facilities under Donald Trump. This next story is heavy, and I'm going to get to the specifics. First, I want to remind you or tell you about this in case you hadn't heard about this. This is from earlier this week. In a separate story, the parents of 545 children separated at the U.S.-Mexico border under the Trump administration's no-tolerance migration policy still can't be found, according to court filings. They separated these children from their parents. Now they can't find their parents. And for some of the kids, it's been over 3 years. But today, we have a new story. The Guardian broke this. U.S. ICE officers used torture to make Africans sign own deportation orders. There are many details here. As I said, a lot of it it's heavy, it's dark. Let me start, though. A plane carrying 60 Cameroonian and 28 Congolese asylum-seekers was quietly flown out of Fort Worth Alliance Airport in Texas on October 13th to deliver them to their home countries. The charter plane did not release a flight plan, but it was tracked by immigration rights group Witness at the Border, which said it stopped in Senegal, Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and then Kenya before flying back to Texas. The Cameroonian deportees were from the country's English-speaking minority, which has been the target of widespread abuses, including extrajudicial killings by government security forces seeking to crush a separatist movement. So before I even get into the details of what these Cameroonian migrants went through in this ICE facility, here they are being sent back to a country that they're being targeted in. Members of their family have been targeted and killed. They will very likely be targeted and killed as well. That's why they escaped. And the U.S. sending them back before they can have their pending asylum hearings, where obviously, based on the circumstance, they would be granted asylum. But look at what ICE put them through so that they could be deported before that happened. One of those involved, identified by the initials BJ, said that on September 27th, ICE officers, quote, pepper sprayed me in the eyes, and one officer strangled me almost to the point of death. I kept telling him, I can't breathe. I almost died. As a result of the physical violence, they were able to forcibly obtain my fingerprint on the document, BJ said. Another detainee, known as DF, said that he was ordered to sign his deportation order by an ICE agent on September 28th. Quote, I refused to sign. He pressed my neck into the floor. I said, please, I can't breathe. I lost my blood circulation. Then they took me inside with my hands at my back, where there were no cameras, DF said. According to his account, he was then taken to a punitive wing of the Adams County Center, known as Zulu, and subjected to further assault. Quote, they put me on my knees, where they were torturing me, and they said they were going to kill me. They took my arm and twisted it. They were putting their feet on my neck. While in Zulu, they did get my fingerprint on my deportation document and took my picture, he said. DF was one of the detainees on the October 13th flight to Douala. It is unclear what has happened to him since. A third detainee, CA, said he was forced to the ground, sat on, handcuffed, and pepper sprayed. Quote, I was crying. I can't breathe because they were forcibly on top of me, pressing their body weight on top of me. My eyes were so hot. I was dragged across the ground, he said. The officers told me to open my eyes. I couldn't. My legs and hands were handcuffed. They forcibly opened my palm. Some of my fingers were broken. They forced my fingerprint onto the paper. All of this, of course, is illegal. These are human rights abuses. These people are seeking asylum. They should be granted asylum. They were awaiting their hearing. And ICE is torturing them to force them out. Can you imagine if another country was torturing Americans? What do you think the response would be from the U.S. government? They were targeting and torturing Americans. What do you think the response would be? This is completely insane. And just to show you, this is straight from the official .gov website here for immigration. Every year, people come to the U.S. seeking protection because they have suffered persecution or fear they will suffer persecution due to race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, political opinion. If you are eligible for asylum, you may be permitted to remain in the U.S. To apply for asylum, file this form, and within 1 year of your arrival to the U.S., there is no fee to apply for asylum. They're in the country, waiting for their hearing, and they get tortured to be forced to sign a document to leave. What is the difference between ICE and a terrorist organization? The only difference that I see is that ICE has state power. So they have even more free reign to do whatever the hell they want. And under Trump, there was no worry of them facing any repercussions for any of these actions. Now, you may be wondering, why is this happening this year, right before the election? Because a lot of this happened at the end of September, October. Why is it happening now? Well, The Guardian writes here, lawyers and human rights advocates said there had been a significant acceleration of deportations in recent weeks, a trend they see as linked to the looming elections and the possibility that ICE could soon be under new management. So basically, ICE is doing the torture now because they're afraid they won't be able to under Joe Biden. This is really insane. If any other country did this, there would be massive uproar worldwide. The UN, all countries would be coming together to go after the US to stop this sort of behavior. But because the US controls the process, because they hold the most power when it comes to these international organizations, people are stuck. It really is absurd what we've all just allowed to happen. And it will continue and get much, much, much worse if Trump wins a second term.